you guys have asked the question to disable the approval process after the button. So I figured out that's a thing actually which is not feature is not enabled by Salesforce. That's the reason I have seen the idea posted in the Salesforce Success community, the approval process removal of submit for approval button after the record is approved. That's the idea posted by one of the customer or employee of Salesforce. So there are a lot of votes. What happens, right? Salesforce releases new features every quarter, right? So summer, spring, and winter, these 3 quarters they release new features. The features are the ideas, all these things will be coming not from Salesforce. So they take ideas from the customers. They take ideas again from employees. Anyone can post an idea. People can vote for this. I can unlike it also, and I can like it. Each like will add 10 points. Each dislike will remove 10 points. So these are all the comments. If you want to change the idea of it, you can add some recommendations. These are the votes. These are the similar ideas which are similar to this. Okay. This feature it's not enabled by Salesforce. I think in future they might remove this button on approval. One thing you have to remember is on the record you can see the status of the record is approved. Okay. Some people might get confused and say they can re-click on submit for approval button. Still the status is approved. Okay, there's no issues on that. So this is still in ideas. If you got some more points, they might convert this idea into the feature of Salesforce. Okay, and they might release in the coming spring or anything. It depends on the votes. If the other ideas is getting more votes, this cannot be released at this point of time. Okay, got it? So you can also post some ideas if you have any ideas. This is open community where you can post ideas by logging in with your Salesforce credentials. It can be your developer login or customer login or anything. Okay. And coming down, to approval email thing. So I still need some time on this. I haven't explored that option. I tried a couple of things, which is not giving me. So let's try final time. Okay. So I'm going to log into the application. Or if I log in here, I will be logging out from this. Running over and clsolutions.com, and I'm trying to log in from different browser. Yeah. And if you come back again to this part, here is I have a purpose on my customer object. I'm clicking on it. I'm clicking on clone the existing .11. I'm clicking on save. Now we have option click on submit for approval button. So you can do one thing. You can disable and enable the submit for approval button on the page layout. I showed you how to remove the buttons on the page layout, right? Go to the page layout, click on edit, you can remove this. But if you remove there, this person cannot even see the submit for approval button on other records also. That's the problem. Now I have sent the request to my manager, that is winkyworks@gmail.com, apple.com. I'm going to my home tab, scrolling down, so I need to see the 11th record here on the system approval process. That is here. I might even get some email to my email address. Clicking on refresh. Yeah, I got it. If I'm clicking on reply, if it is giving Salesforce email address, it will track it. One thing I can do that. Going back to setup again. Email. Display name. winkyworks@gmail.com. Okay. Yeah, I'm giving all profiles use this from address. All the emails going out of the system will use this from address. That's fine. So I have to verify this request. The request will be sent to me on email. I have to verify these settings so that Salesforce will get a permission to send emails as winkyworks@gmail.com. Okay. Now come back to your edition. Click on refresh. It says verified. Perfect. And now email to Salesforce. Let's go to approval process and settings. Finally, I'm trying to do one small option. Enable email response. Obviously this guy. Question and adding. Now I'm trying to do it again. I'm going back to my system. I'm clicking on edit the record and I will put the new information, that is clicking on save, and I will click on submit for approval again. So instead of this, I can click on clone. I want to keep one more record, and I want to click on submit for approval button now. Click on continue. So now I will get one more email from Salesforce on this. Okay, click on refresh. So I'm clicking on reply on this, the second email. Yeah, this is what I have to approve. I'm clicking on approve and I'm clicking on send. Now come back to the system. I will come back to the end user and I will click on refresh on this page. So I did a very simple mistake. Okay. Come back to this system and click on approval process. Click on home. The policy record is not yet shown here. Means that might have approved from my understanding. Let's check it. Clicking on customer 1012. Yeah, it's approved. Let's try again one more thing, okay? Because it's taking like a couple of fraction of seconds to do that. So I will create one more record for you. I did a mistake. That's what I want to show it to you, okay? I'm clicking on customer month and his salary is okay, making it as active, and I want to select the country as anything except USA because India also belongs to the approval process, okay? Because I gave only approval process will go into this only if I'm giving it as some dummy email I'm giving it. It may throw some error email exception. It will see, you can see that in the email log if you're trying to send email to this guy, it shows some message obviously because the email is not available. That thing you can see it in the error logs, email logs. Now you are clicking on submit for approval button. So I'm going back to my system, to my email. I'm not approving it now. Clicking on this, clicking on inbox to check my email. I got an email. Just refresh one more time. Yeah. So let's click on reply. Yeah, this is not the email which I can send because this email is coming from the workflow rule, which is a simple notification. This is not the thing I want to reply. I want to give reply to this email. What's happening here is there are two emails coming with the same subject because as we are using the same email template, because we should use the approval template. That's the reason it's really confusion. Okay. I have to reply to the second email coming with the same subject. If I am clicking on reply on this, see what's happening. As email approval is enabled, so the email is going to the approval email. The reply to address in this email, I can show that to you. If I click on this, see, coming from this, but the reply to email address is this. Means when you're trying to reply, it won't go to the from address. It will go to the email approval address. That is a very big email address of Salesforce. Okay. That's what it's doing here. Now I'm clicking on rejected. Clicking on, and I will put down the notes in the second line. I put too much amount. Clicking on send. So let's go back to system. Click on home and check the Sumant approval process still here. Click on refresh. I think I have to use reject, or yeah, it's gone. See, I haven't done anything. I simply clicked on refresh. It's taking around 3 to 4 seconds, okay, to go through this process. I'm not seeing the Sumant request here. Going back to customer Sumant record, and if you scroll down, you can see it's rejected. The amount what I checked, the comment too much amount. This is, I have done it from my email, right? And again, you asking me to remove the submit for approval button on approval. That's the idea. Still, it's in pending stage. Okay. That's it, guys. We can move on to the other topic. Now we are going to discuss about the users, how to create users and things. Okay. And I want to show you multi-step approval process in this browser, which is showing like this. See, there is a training object, and we take approvals on this. So generally, the entry criteria of this is training. And if greater than 1,000, it's the entry criteria. All the records within greater than 1,000 will enter into step 1. And it is the approver. Here I have got the static approver. Okay. Approve, unapprove, reject, unrejected. Yeah. I think it does not make any difference. So let's say, let's use the standard thing. What is set by them? Clicking on settings. So they have given a standard thing. What should be done? So let's follow that. I think approved also might be working. Okay. You want me to try? I'll do that. So what they are going to do at email services, we can even do with our coding with Apex also. They will try to check whether approve keyword is there in the email or not, in the reply email. If you in the reply email, if it is there, then they are going to approve. In the reply email, if there is a rejected, inside rejected there is a reject also, right? Reject is a subset of rejected. If you consider the keywords, there are 6 letters in this, but rejected contains 8 letters, which is subset. Means we are appending two extra letters to this. That's reason it's considering approved, approve, rejected, rejected, 4 type of responses. It's considering it. Okay, you can go ahead with both the things. But the standard way what these guys gave is use only approve and approve. This is the very best option to use this. And I say in the first line and adding comments in the second line, will automatically put down the comments also for your approval request. Got it? So if you make any spelling mistake, it may not consider. It won't approve. Okay. And yeah, I came here to show you the multi-step approval process. So here I have not given the manager. Generally, I generally give the in our scenario, I generally give the manager as Venkat on the user record. But in this approval process, I directly gave the user. So whoever submits this training record approval process, enters into training record approval process, the first level approver is Anita, second level approver is Venkat, third level approver is Sai, fourth level approver is again Venkat, because I just modified. So it should be different users, but I gave again the same user because this edition is having multiple licenses. That's the reason we can even try that in this edition. So by assigning different users for different people, and if Asif submit a request, Faizan can approve. Faizan, if the request is more than $10,000, the request will again come to me. Later on, it can go to Nikhil. Later on, it can go to Ravi. The type of things we can do it. It works easily. That's not a big deal. Okay. So this is how it works. All the requests greater than 2,000 will go into step 2. If it is 1,500, it ends here. It ends in the first step only, after Anita's approval only. The record says it's approved. There is no need of additional approvals. If it is 2,500, it will go to Venkat also. Okay. This is multi-step approval process. You can see actions on each and every step. And if you want to modify in future, you can even do that by clicking on edit. Okay. If you see the view diagram, it looks a little big than the actual diagram what we have shown actually. With 4 conditional things. Yeah, see, these are 4 steps. If it is rejected, it's going to the previous step. I can even say if it is rejected, to which step it has to go. Again, if there is only one guy to approve, then it's simply rejected, it will go back to the user. But what happens here? The user is submitting the record here, okay, and it's coming to the step 1. There is a different approver, and the first level approver is approved, okay. Then it went to the second step. Second level approver is rejected. If this guy rejects, it's go to the first step only. Okay, it won't go to the user. You can view the rejection step also. To which step it has to go? It has to cancel all the steps, or it has to go to the previous step. That thing you can configure on the rejection steps. Again, when the second step is approved, it goes to the third step. When the third step is approved, it goes to the fourth step. When you have rejected at the third step, it will not go to the second step. See, it's not going to the second step. It's directly going to the user rejection. The training record is directly rejected. If the rejection is happening at third step, it's completely getting rejected. If rejection is happening at second step, it's going to the step 1 again. Another can modify the record and he can submit again. It's not going to be rejected, okay? And again, if you are rejecting at the fourth step, again you are going to third step. You are not canceling the complete approval process. But on third step, if you are rejecting, it's canceling the complete approval steps and it's going to the rejection status directly. Got it? This is how you can configure things. Anyway, let's leave the approval concept and let's move on to the user management. If you click on users, so this is the edition which I'm showing. This is a different edition where there are many users. For suppose the developer edition has less settings, right? Has less user licenses available. How to check licenses and what licenses are available for your edition? Okay, go to your company information, the company profile. Inside it, there is a company information. If you click on it, it shows your organization details, your instance details. This organization belongs to this company, and primary contact is this guy. Okay, and the default settings of this default time zone is GMT -5. It's Indian Standard Time. And the total data usage of this organization is 1% out of 250 MB. Okay, because for developer edition it's only 25 MB. Okay, the file usage space is around 55 MB. It's totally 100 MB here. Again, in coming to the developer instance free edition, it's 25 MB only. It's not sufficient for using some of the features of Salesforce. API requests. When you're using third-party applications and you are requesting Salesforce data with API requests, then the actual limit is 15,000 per day for last 24 hours. If you are using more than that, your application won't support to API requests because there is a limit on that. This is the governor limit on API requests. You can only request 1500 times, 15,000 times from this edition. This is the overall user's requests, okay, not the specific user, okay. Streaming API request is 10,000 max, okay. And restricted logins current month 0. There is no max limit. Salesforce org ID, because each and every company will be having a ID, means each and every organization will be having an ID, which is really unique for that organization. There can be hundreds of users in this. They means hundreds of user IDs. Okay, but this will be only unique thing. If you have any issue with this edition, with this organization, means edition or organization is means I can call this as same thing, because most people call in different things. Okay, they call as instance, they call as edition, they call as organization, Salesforce organization. Okay, so this is, if they have any issue with this, if you want to raise a case, you need to use this information in the case information. Hey, I have a problem with my organization. Can you please enable multi-currency feature in this edition? The organization ID of this is 00D9, all zeros, 9C US. This is the organization. So you have to give this information so that they can enable the multi-currency feature for this organization if you are trying to reach as a primary contact only. Okay, and that's it. And these are all the user licenses available for this company. So this company has bought 20 licenses, but coming down to your company profile, you can see very less information on all these licenses. There will be two here, sometimes one also. Salesforce licenses 2, free. Here we have 20 and I have used 20 licenses. This is important license, okay. There are a lot of licenses based on the type of access what your users need. You can pick the type of license for them. This is the top level license where you can use all the features of Salesforce, Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, everything, okay. And these are the permission sets. Permission set licenses too, and these are the feature licenses. Feature licenses means marketing user is a special feature license. Apex mobile user special license. Knowledge user special license. These licenses you have to again specially buy on top of it. So they give two licenses as I know in March, okay. Salesforce CRM content user 2 licenses only. If 2 people are using this edition, means these people can load the content, then create content. They can create libraries, upload a lot of resources, and other people, the other 20 users and other people inside this, all the users can access this content. So service for user means these two users will be having special access to the service code application, all the features of it. They can use it. Even the same with live agent user. These are all feature licenses, special features licenses. So you can also see in your edition, the free edition, what all you have. Okay. Again, when you are creating a user license, what are important things? Okay. Okay. Can someone create a general Gmail address for this training? Okay. Salesforce training. Some email address you can create so that all the people can access this email address. What I will do is I'm going to create some user license, some user in this edition to you, so that you have access to a lot of resources. So this edition I specially created to train the people, especially training the people. Okay, there is a lot of resources in this. Ravi, can you create one general Gmail address with the name training.salesforce4@gmail.com? You can use number like 4, so that all the people can access the same edition. What I will do is you can use the generic password like Salesforce123. That's the password for the Gmail address what you are going to create. So what I will do, I will create one more user with that email address, and I will share you the password. Why I am asking you to create the common email is, for suppose if you are trying to log in from a different area, because there are 8 people from logging from different locations with different IP addresses, it might send you a 5-digit security code to your email. So that time you have to need need the access to the 5-digit code. So if you have access to the email, the group email, that will be really good, so that you can put down the 5-digit code, log in and put down the 5-digit code, and you can access the system, right? So I can't. I can even block it to disable the passcode, but that's a really good feature that I don't want to disable this. So to create a user, so can you do it now? So it takes, or else I can do it now from my side. Give me a second. Yeah, no problem. Oh yeah, are you already doing it? Yeah, use some generic first name, last name. First name is training, second name is Salesforce4, okay, and put down training.salesforce4@gmail.com is your username. If it is not available, put 5, training5, okay. Yeah. Once if you are done with that, I will start creating a user in this edition now. For that, I will check whether my licenses are free. Yeah, there are 20 licenses. 20 are used. 0 licenses available. That's the reason what I'm going to do is I'm going into the user object. I will try to disable one other user. Clicking on edit. I cannot delete a user. Remember that you cannot delete the user. I'm trying to disable inactive. If I make this inactive, the one user license will be available again for Salesforce. Sometimes it won't allow us to deactivate the user, because if there is any workflow rules or anything assigned to this person, that will block us too. Yeah, now I have disabled Pallavi user account. Now if you go back to your company profile, I can see one license left. Out of 2019 is used, one is left. Earlier, there is all the 20 are used and 0 left, right? Now I have deactivated one user, so I have access to the user now. Cool. Yeah, now I'm going to use create a new user with this email address. You can check it out. So while creating a user, things you need to remember is what license are we using. We confirm that we are using Salesforce license to have the all applications access, all data access. Okay. And apart from that, if you want to share, means if you want to use special permissions or higher roles, the role is a required field. Okay. Role means what is the role of this person inside the company. He is the CEO or CFO or CTO or COO, you can put it, so that the records will be shared according to that profile. If he is the CTO, he can get the access to all the records who are working under CTO, means the senior manager technical, team leads technical, developers, all these people report to CTO, right? Generally, all these people's data will be generally shared to this CTO. Okay. So let's create one. Training for Salesforce okay. So this is your user. Whenever you log in, you see training for Salesforce okay, on this name. Okay. The email is, and you have, okay, can you notice one thing? I have logged in as Anita Krishnan. Okay. I haven't logged in as Venkat now. What happened is, first of all, I logged in as Venkat. Later on, I logged in as inside Venkat only. I logged in as Anita. That's the reason you can see the screen like this, the black color screen with this message. Now I have done two internal logins. First of all, I logged in into Venkat's profile. That's the system admin. I think super admin. From there, I logged in as Anita. That's the reason it says logged in as Anita. Okay. Anyway, I'm creating now the record as Anita, not as Venkat. Okay. Now I'm copying the email address what you have created, and the username also will be the same thing. Okay. Right. And the nickname is this. And the role will be something like, I can give it as COO, because you generally don't get special permissions in terms of settings or security setup, but you have special access to the additional records, additional data you get access. Okay, you don't get special access on applications or objects. Okay, that thing completely controlled by your profile. So now I'm selecting the Salesforce license. This is the top license available. These are other licenses. Salesforce external means, so if you want to invite your customer or client to your Salesforce charter, you can do that. You are going to provide only charter access to the person. Charter free means for internal employees. If you don't have Salesforce license, you can use charter free license to collaborate with them. Charter is a collaboration cloud to talk, to share the content, to share the reports, to share the data, to share their status, everything. Okay, to share their work also on the board. You can even send approval requests from Charter also, right? Yeah, I've shown that previous day. And Force.com free app subscription, Force.com free. These are all very small licenses. Force.com is a platform, and Force.com free is like where you can use the free license of Salesforce, where you cannot. It's completely free app where it installs. And generally, if you selected this, you don't see all these options, all these applications for the person. If you log in as this guy, when I have given this user license for this person, you cannot see anything. Identity is only if you want to access Salesforce username and if you want to use only Salesforce username and password, you can use the identity license. this license costs less only because Salesforce is providing only the authentication layer only. So these days, Oracle is providing ID, IM, or Oracle IM means Oracle. So the Oracle IM provides only the authentication layer for enterprise applications. So now most of the enterprises is using English around applications. For that, this is required. Okay. Let's come to Salesforce. This is the top license, as I said. Salesforce platform. If you want to build new applications, you can use Salesforce platform where you don't see all the standard applications, but you can build it from scratch. That's only platform. Service Cloud. It's Service Cloud entity. You can see Service Cloud features. Work.com. Work.com is like a performance tool. It's acquired by, Salesforce acquired a company called Ripple, and they created a Work.com with that. So you can even share badges, share tags. You can give some feedback to other peers, project managers. Project managers can give feedback to you. It's like a collaboration tool, same way, to share the feedbacks of other employees. Finally, if you got good feedback from many employees and if you got good badges, the gamification badges, you obviously get promoted like this. X.com org is a different proxy route. Okay. So anyway, we are going to use only Salesforce.com license, and the profile is I can give you as Salesforce administrator, okay, a system administrator. So please don't modify any data here. I am giving all permissions to you. And these are all the options, because if you have system administrator permissions, you can see things like you can access all the Apex code, even Visual Force code, and all the settings. You can modify if you want by clicking on view. Don't click on, after clicking on it, if you click on save, things are modified after modifying it. If you don't click on save, if you click on cancel or close the window, it won't save the data. So you can see all the configuration points, okay, by simply clicking on that option. And these are all the feature licenses. Remember that we have shown you marketing user, offline user, knowledge user. If you want this feature, you simply enable this. Otherwise, no, these are not required. And development mode, that's everything. These are all very basic settings, okay. If you enable this, it enables Salesforce content for you, okay. And if you belong to some call center group, I can assign to that call center, so that whenever a ticket is assigned to the call center, you will be notified. So you can also belong to the call center like this. I can also set some mobile configuration for you. This is for Salesforce Mobile Classic application. It's that old application, okay. So you can look up, you can create the configurations in the mobile administration. Later on, you can use it. That's the old concept. No need to go through that, because Salesforce One is a new application. Now it's easy to develop and things are really good with Salesforce One. Most people are trying to use this. You can access everything, the enterprise data, all the things on your mobile. As it is on cloud, you can simply connect with your mobile also by putting down your username and password, and it works like offline application also for you. Okay. I generally I have my Salesforce application on my iPad and phone. I can access all the data which I am creating even in my system. So this mobile application is not for the developers, it's for the end users. So even though if I am traveling remotely, I can keep the data. So most of the sales reps or support reps means some type of support reps will sit in the office. Some type of support reps like AT&T support rep, so AT&T field service guy. So generally there will be different things. Service team will have support guy who sits in the office, one guy who will be roaming outside, who will be fixing the issues. Because if you have an issue with your internet connection in your home, if you raise a case, one guy will talk to you from the inbound call center, in-house call center, and the other guy will come to your place He's not the one who talked to you. This guy is the field service guy. And there's one more guy called field sales guy who will be coming to your place to install the things. This is the salesperson who tells about the features, all this stuff. This is the field sales, and the person who fixes the field service guy. For them, they don't need to log into a system and directly put down the data, connecting to the internet. Okay, that's really bad for them. These days, most people are carrying iPads. If you see AT&T service guys, they use Salesforce, and they generally use iPads even in their service centers or their stores also. They generally create data anywhere. If you want to look into some, if your customer is coming into the store, these are service guys. They will put down your phone number, and with the phone number, you can fetch the complete profile of the customer and what products he got from your company, everything on the customer page. How many lines you have taken, how much he is paying, is he paying correctly monthly, or he has any pending payments like this. Everything you can check it, and you can talk it on the based on that. Okay, so that's the reason this everything is for end users. Okay, these mobile applications. Now field service people can use their iPad application and create the data from this within. If you click on save the data, because obviously iPads are connected with internet with 3G or 4G, so they save the record into the cloud, and everyone in the company can see it. The CEO who is in different country, he can access the things. He can see the reports and dashboards of sales, service, marketing directly on his dashboards. So we'll work on dashboards, reports, everything. That will be more interesting. Okay. And later on, you can view down your very personal information, all this user, the address. These are all not required. This is not that important. Okay. And the only important thing is here, all the things marked with red color are really important. But again, they have selected with the default values. If your company says that the default value is English, when you are trying to create the new user, the default language will be English. If you are a multinational company, if you want to, if you have some person in Japan, China, your sales reps, so they can put down the language as their Chinese, so that the complete application will look in Chinese language. Okay, all the data will be transformed to Chinese language by changing the settings. If you don't want to see in English, you can see in Japanese, Spanish, French, any of this language. Okay, and even the local settings also will be helpful, and the time zone is helpful to show the data creation time and date in terms of your time zone. So as I see, when I'm creating a record in my system, it shows in PST based on the settings what you have given and the user. If I'm using CST, it shows in CST. If I'm using PST, it shows in PST. The same record, if Indian guy is accessing, the created date will show in his time, not in my time only. Okay. And approval settings. So this is what I already showed you. And you can, by default, there's no need to put on the values, but if you have a manager, if you have the data, you can give it. Okay. And request approval emails are not if I am the approver. So okay, I'll leave this. This is a simple concept. I'm clicking on save. These are all the things required. The main things is this and this. Other things have a default value. There is no need to modify anything. Okay. So now coming down to, after the coming out of user object, we have a question. What is the role? So by seeing the word role, you might have got means the role of this employee in the company, right? So I can show you how role hierarchy works. I'm clicking on roles here. Inside manage users only, there is a option called roles. If I click on it, I can see the role. Okay, you can set up the role hierarchy, custom role hierarchy for your company. I don't know what your company role structure, how your company follow the reporting structure, everything I don't know. Salesforce gives option to modify like anything. Okay, so they are giving some sample role hierarchy information. So this is the sample role hierarchy information for a company which works in territory based sample, means who works on regions wise. Okay, here there is no product manager like this. So there is sales director, Western sales director, Eastern sales director, international sales director, and Western sales reps. Under each and every sales director, there will be hundreds of sales reps. First of all, you can even include sales managers, and under them they can put sales reps. That's the role hierarchy for the territory-based structure. These are the samples. You don't need to follow this. This is the product-based sample. If you are a product company, it might be like this. They are showing the simple sample to you. They are not asking you to follow this, but it's a sample. So vice president, VP, vice president hardware, vice president software, vice president networking. These are the three basic things most product companies will be using for hardware, software, and networking. And hardware guys will be there. Software team will be under this person. The product head of software, product heads will be their module heads, managers, team leads, finally developers under this guy. Hardware side also, hardware also is a product, because this you can put down any names based on your company. Each company follow different structure. Okay, different names also. Some people call software engineer, some people call a system analyst. It depends. Okay, these are very basic samples I'm showing it to you. Okay, this is company size. Okay, some companies will divide the things based on the company sizes. They will assign special director for the Fortune 1000 companies, for mid market, for small and medium companies. Sorry, for medium companies they assign different director. For small companies they assign different director. That's how it works. If I click on don't show this again, this is only the information page. Okay, no need to worry about this. Click on setup roles. Now I'll be taken to the role hierarchy of your company. You can do things. I can click on expand all to see how the roles are in this company. Okay. So under CEO there are many people, that is CFO, CEOs, CMO, COO, delivery manager, SVP, SVP support, SVP human resources, SVP sales and marketing. These are the people under CEO. And the managing director is the person who is not reporting to CEO, but who is very next to CEO. He is the board of director. Okay. Managing director is the head of, means he is not the head of CEO also. Okay. CEO and managing director are sitting very next to you. That means these guys are, this is the board of directors governing team will be here. He will be head of some board of directors. Okay, and CEO will be also parallelly working with him, because this guy is not reporting to him or this guy is not reporting to him. These both are working with each other to make this company good. Okay. So, but most of the company workers are under CEO. This person is operating each and every person. You can see things like this. This is like a tree structure. You can expand, and you can, by clicking on that, it will make it collapse and expand. The SVP support rep is head of all the support team. The support. So these three people are reporting to SVP customer support rep, customer support international, customer support North America, installation and repair services. These are three teams. Under that again, for support of international there are many people under it. Customer support India is the group name. Under it there is again two teams: customer support Bangalore, customer support Hyderabad. That's how you can classify And if you want to add a new role, so you click on add role. If I'm clicking on add role under CMO, see under CMO there is add role. If I'm clicking on add role, I'm going to add a role under CMO. This role reports to CMO. Marketing assistant. Marketing assistant. The role, this is the label name. The role name will be also the same thing, but it's unique with underscore. And role name displayed on reports, I want to show in the same name. Here, this is the special settings. With the row hierarchy, when I'm creating the role, right? So I'm doing the opportunity access settings and case access also. So the marketing assistant role, so users in this role can edit all opportunities associated with accounts that they own, regardless of who owns the opportunities. So means this role guy can edit all the opportunities associated with accounts that this team means that this team has owned it. Okay, so if there are 4 accounts created by this team, okay, all the accounts opportunities, even though the opportunity is not created by him, it's created by some other support rep, a marketing guy, he can even see that opportunities also, regardless of who owns the opportunities. So it's clearly mentioned here. You can pick the whichever settings you want. Case access also is the same thing. You can see all the cases. This is the second option is view all the cases. First option is don't have access to the cases. Second is view, only view. Third is view and edit. Can edit all the cases associated with that accounts. Okay. Here I'm not giving access to the case access, but I'm giving full access to the opportunity access of the opportunities related to the accounts created by them, the accounts owned by them. Okay, the accounts belong to them. Clicking on save. So these options are shown to every role creation. You can select the things according to your requirement. The business will tell you. When I'm selecting this, the role is created, marketing assistant. I can assign the users by clicking on this. So I'm going to assign the user that is recently created, that is training for I give a COO, right? Yeah, for COO there is this guy, right? I want to make this person training for Salesforce for as a marketing assistant. Yeah, I moved him. Selected users for marketing assistant. These are users belongs to COO. Anita also COO, Morley also COO, all these persons are COO. I'm making training for Salesforce for as marketing assistant now. I moved from COO role to marketing assistant role. If I click on save, now this is the role which I created and this is the assigned user for this role. If I'm clicking on this user, it takes me to the training for user profile and it shows me the user detail page. See, this is the user detail page. See what is assigned to. It's assigned to marketing assistant. But I have done it from the role detail page by clicking on assign users. I can create new user directly from here also, so that this new user will be automatically assigned to this marketing assistant. I can even assign the existing users to this role. Okay, and I can edit and delete this at any point of time. And later on, I will go to click on roles and I will show it again. So I showed you how to create the new role now, but I can show you how to assign users. There is one assignment, or if I click on CEO role, I can assign users. But I can even do this assignment here also. By clicking on assign, it takes me to the same screen. By clicking on assign, The assign button for each and every role. See, it's already assigned. I can add one more guy to this. Let me click on save. Because see, and I can modify, I can delete this, I can add new role. These are the options available on the role hierarchy. So you generally get the role hierarchy structure for the current company, okay, for your customer. Create the structure in what way they have given. Simply, if there is a person who reports to COO, that is COO assistant, I can add a role directly from here, and I can give the exact permissions what they want on cases and opportunities. Okay, that's how it works. This is a better format to see in the preview. Okay. And when, so if you want to track the users when they are logging in, everything, you can click on login history. By clicking on login history, you can check when they have logged in. Ravi, can you check the can you check your email whether you got any password resetting email from Salesforce? If yes, you can set the password as same Salesforce 123.
Yes, I got one.
Yeah, you can select the Salesforce 123. Guys, you can use this username training.salesforce4@gmail.com. This is the email and password is this. Same email and password, you can use it for the Salesforce login also. That is the login for Enterprise Partner Edition, Enterprise Partner Developer Edition, where you can access a lot of resources. I will show that thing after showing this login history. Okay. What is this login history? There are 20 users in this edition. If I want to track who is logging in, what they are doing, and whether they are success or failure, I can see this here. Login history. This login history will show for all the users. Training or demo. This is the user. This is the partner portal user. This is the main user. This is me, which I am logging in from this IP address every day. And this is the customer portal, customer community login. This is the partner portal login. This is my logins only. And yesterday Murli has logged in with, these are two logins. He have logged in from this IP address at this time. So everything is showing in IST because I'm using the IST time zone. That's the reason. Everything is shown as IST. And you can see success, failure. If you need a computer activation, it means the 5-digit code. It shows this filed, computer activation required. If you give the password, it shows success. From where we have logged in, Chrome 38 version, Windows 8.1 OS, browser, and I can even see which access point they have logged in, ap1.salesforce.com login endpoint. If I want to know if I want to track specific person when he has started login or all this stuff. So if I want to explore what Venkat is doing, or means whether he is trying to access the system or not. So if I click on this user, if I click on login history, so this page, when I go to any user record, I can see the login history only for this user. Okay. I logged in today, yesterday, again on first, because this is in Indian time, because today is second, but still showing as third because it's showing as 6:24 AM IST, the morning time of India. Different times I'm logging in every day 2 times, and I can see the last 6 months login history for this user. Same way, if you are working for a different company, they can even track you what you're doing, everything. And there is one more information called audit trail for developers. If you're trying to modify something in your edition, if you're developing something, they can track what are the things what you are doing. If, for suppose, if the mistake is done by one user, as this is completely a cloud, who modified it, everything can be tracked DCD with the date and time, and what is the previous setting, what is the next setting, what you have modified. If he is throwing some error, you can roll back the changes. Everything can be done seen in the audit trail. That's for developers. This is only for the login history of this user. Okay, and let's see whether this user has logged in. Training for Salesforce 4. I'm clicking on refresh. There is login history as 0 record till now, but let's see. I think if Ravi has logged into this,
Yes,
with this user, yeah, I got the login history 1. That is 3:17:35 a.m. IST because it's Indian time. This is IP address from where he's trying to log in. He's using its access and this is how it showed. Okay. If I'm clicking on the login history, this is the overall login history. I can even see the log here also. But yeah, he's trying to use Safari, Mac OS 6. Yeah. So this view I can modify. If I want to add some information, I can show it by clicking on new view. Okay. So this view is standard view, but the view which I'm showing on the user page is not having the browser and login type and status, right? I think browser is not there and platform is not there. I can even add that even there. So I can even download all the 6 months data. The page only shows you filter and display lost 20,000 logins. By clicking on next page you can see lost 20,000 logins. Because if there are 20,000 employees in your system, you cannot see this last 6 days data also, right? In that case, you can download the login history of all the last 6 months by clicking on this. If you need more records, download the last 6 months in a CSV format. What is CSV format? It's an Excel format, comma separated values. So this CSV is supported by all the enterprise applications. They don't use Excel like most of the people. They support CSV formats. Okay. And I think now you have access to this edition. So let's do one thing. I'm logging out of Anita. Now what happens is I will log into Venkat automatically. See, this is the Venkat user. So I have a permission because see, I can log in as Anita. So by clicking on login here, I can log into this Anita's user. Now it shows logged in as Anita by Venkat. Means it's not showing by Venkat, but you know that you first log into Venkat, later on you are super administrator. And this lady have given permission to log in as so this lady has given permission to me to log in into her edition. So this user belongs to this part edition only. See, these are all users in my edition. That's the reason I can access it. So she gave login access because she has some issue. She wants to be fixed by system administrator. That's the reason she gave access to that. If you want to give access in the same way to me, Ravi, you can go to my settings. Click on my settings on the browser. See on the intro thing. If you expand, okay. If you expand personal, oh my God. If you click on my settings, if you go to personal thing.
Yeah, my settings.
Yes, yeah. My settings, click on personal. There is grant access, login access permissions. This is the permission what Anita has given. That is the reason you can see login button before the user information. See, this is the login access, grant of login access permission. See, here is the grant login access to your system administrator, means me. All the system administrators in this company will be having access to this thing. If you are giving access to Salesforce support, now Salesforce support, they can log into your application directly. But you should not give access to Salesforce support until and unless your administrator has given permission to that. Because if you are working for AT&T, if you are an employee, you have some issue with your edition, you are unable to see some data, you raise a case internally. So the system administrator of AT&T asks you to give permissions to log in, grant access permissions. First of all, you give the permission for internal administrator. your company administrator. If he's unable to fix, this guy only will share the login access permissions to Salesforce support. You don't need to do that. Okay. The reason why is there is important data in your organization. You cannot share the data like without taking approval from your system administrator. He will do that. You have to share login access permissions only to your company administrator only. Without username and password, they can directly log in to your system by going to the users page. For example, I'm clicking on users. If you have given to your company administrator, I might have given got access for that. Trying for. Still you have not given. If you go
Yes,
to my settings.
Just now. Yeah.
Yeah, now I have login access permissions. If I click on login now, I can log into I can log in as training for Salesforce 4. Now I can check if you see that my, you can say I cannot access your Salesforce sales application. I can say, yeah, please select this sales application. If there's any issue with your data access or things, the system administrator can log in as you and he can fix this like it. And you can cancel the connection also. Means you can cancel the login access after fixing the issue also. But means you can give it to me. That's not a problem. You can remove the access whenever you're done. So there is a number of days also you can provide there. You can give it for 180 days, 1 year also like this. It's there. You can put down that number so that it will be available. The system admin can access at any point of time. Now I'm going back. Now let's do one thing. I'm logged in as training for user. First of all, I'll show you where the content is available in our system. So if you go to Charter, now I am showing you as training for Salesforce for user. Clicking on next. So, so you are trying to access Salesforce Charter now. I clicked on Salesforce Charter tab. That's it. If you click on groups, there are a lot of groups. Easy to track. You can join this group. Okay. And so, and there are, if you click on Charter, there is a files tab. So if you want to see all the files in this instance, in this organization, click on files. Okay. All files. These are all the files, the resources, the cheat sheets of Salesforce. From the data you can download at any point of time whenever you need it. So, and if you have any questions, you can even post the things on the Charter page, as you have access to it. Apex and VS coding examples, everything is here. This is only simple resources, okay, in Charter. And actually, there is some groups also which are archived and which are not showing to you, but I can make this available. So, active groups. Okay, let's go to. You can search for Q&A. But there are some groups. I'll add you to that groups also, because all these groups are archived because they are not used by all the people. That's reason it's archived. I can automatically add you so that you can see the groups here in your my groups also, and you can follow people. The Salesforce Charter is a combination of Facebook features and Twitter features. Okay, it's a combination of it. So you can follow people, or you can use the feed similar to Facebook way. Okay, you can post documents, you can post requirement documents, you can get separate groups for your project, your R&D team, your ID, different things. You can even share reports and dashboards also. Okay, you can even do share files, post polls. You can take feedback. You can give thanks to some other person. This is the work.com feature, which is linked here. That's why you can use it. And the main thing is, after kind of starting with the development thing, right, you can have access to the lot of code in this organization. You can see a lot of pages and classes. There are many. All the examples are here directly. You can access all this code. There are a lot of pages. So these are all the components where you can open and where you can copy the code and you can reference the codes. Okay, that's the reason I'm sharing this out to you. These are all the classes. You can click on more. You can see a lot more classes. Okay, there are around 3.3 lakh characters of code in this. That's it, guys. In tomorrow's class, we are done with users and roles today. Tomorrow on login history, we will be dealing with permission sets and profiles and public groups and queues in the coming class. Okay, these 4 topics. Okay. We don't have class tomorrow on the after tomorrow. I can put on some videos and that things too. Okay. Okay, you can work on assignments. I'll put down some assignments to you so that you can work on that on this weekend. Thanks, guys. Any questions?
Venkat.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, could you please send me last 3 classes?
Yeah, actually, what I did, I uploaded and I forgot to add to the playlist. This is new. You're unable to see. You can check it out now because I just added it to the playlist. Because playlist is the all the classes in ordered way for this training. Okay, you can see all the items.
Where you placed it? Okay.
Yeah, the playlist I added it, so you can see that I shared the playlist link only to you. You can click on that link directly.
Oh, you shared it? You sent the email?
Yeah, the same link which I shared you before. The
same one. Okay. Got you. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Let's meet on Monday again.